Today, F-15s have racked up more than 100 victories without a single defeat, a record unmatched by any fighter in history.
Is that
Early
even
F-15A and
possible?
B models were soon joined by C.
Okay, sorry, my friends, I have to pause it. Not a single defeat to the F-15? My friends, this is one of the best jets ever. You are so proud if you are American. Leave a like if you are proud. Today I'll be reacting to why the F-15 terrified the Soviets. My friends, I'm super excited for this one. I know the F-15 is one of the best jets ever, but before I go into that, let me ask you for one thing. If you can leave a like, thank you so much. It's the best way to show support. If you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it. You make my day. Have that in consideration now. Link for the original video in my description and
In July 1967, the Soviet Union reveals what appears to be a new superfighter, and it sets off alarm bells.
We currently have no fighter in our operational inventory that could consistently, if successfully, combat the Foxbat. It is thought to have multiple air-to-air and long-range air-to-surface missile capability at a speed of Mach 3.
With the United States and Soviet Union locked in a struggle for air superiority, the Soviets seemed to be winning. Faced with the prospect of being outclassed in the skies, the United States would respond by engineering the greatest fighter jet in history.
here it comes, baby. Man, the F-15 is a beautiful one.
In the Korean War, early fighter jets like the American F-86 and Soviet MiG-15 squared off in fierce air-to-air battles. Both were light, agile jets built for close-range dogfighting. But by the mid-1950s, new technologies were beginning to radically transform fighter aircraft design. Powerful new radars could detect the enemy from much greater distances, while newly introduced guided missiles could hit targets kilometers away.
That's crazy.
Military planners grew convinced that air battles of the future would be fought beyond visual range, where the enemy wouldn't be more than a distant blip on a radar screen. And it meant the newest fighter jet, the F-4 Phantom, was no longer light or agile. It was fast, heavily loaded with missiles, and carried a powerful radar.
So, my friends, when they end up shooting missiles back in the day, was random? Is this a stupid question? Because seems like the F-15 ended up completely changing the game. Am I off on this? Either way, the F-15, man, I want to buy one. I want to buy a A-10 Artog miniature and the F-15 because I think those two planes are so important for the American military. They are still amazing planes. Would you guys agree?
Many believed that dogfighting had become obsolete, but in reality, nothing could be further from the truth. In the Vietnam War, the Air Force's new approach was put to the test, but things didn't go as planned. The skies over Vietnam were a chaotic mix of enemy and friendly aircraft, and the systems designed to help Air Force pilots identify the enemy proved unreliable, forcing pilots to get in close to visually confirm each target. The whole idea of engaging from a distance fell apart. The new F-4 Phantoms were pulled into close-quarter dogfights against more agile MiGs, something their pilots had never been trained to do, and the Phantom's guided missiles proved hopelessly inaccurate. Designed for larger, high-altitude targets, initially only 14% ever hit anything. And when the missiles failed, pilots were left defenseless, because the F-4 was built without a gun for close combat. The larger, less maneuverable Phantoms with their notoriously smoky engines were easily spotted. The more agile MiGs lured the F-4s in close, knowing they were vulnerable.
The F-4 Phantom just barely held its own in this airspace because it is an interceptor used as a fighter, finding it difficult to compete with a fighter designed as a fighter.
American pilots were being downed at alarming rates, and military planners were learning that the age of dogfighting was far from over. Air Force planners scrambled to respond, equipping the F-4 with pod-mounted Gatling guns and training pilots to engage the more maneuverable MiGs. But these were stopgap solutions. What the Air Force really needed was a new dedicated air superiority fighter, and it meant scrapping every one of its earlier concepts for the next generation of fighter aircraft, which now
All of those are just concepts? Man, the amount of money that goes into this, right?
looked too large, too heavy, and likely to fare even worse than the Phantom. And they'd have to move quickly, because in 1967, the Soviet Union unveiled a new fighter of their own. And it looked nothing like the MiGs that F-4 Phantoms were squaring off with in Vietnam. Everything seemed to suggest a fighter built for extreme maneuverability, with twin tails, a massive wingspan, and monstrous engines. Intelligence experts suspected that the Soviets were using advanced lightweight materials, along with new radar and weapon systems. A few months later, the Soviets went on a record-setting spree, posting new world speed and altitude records with the new fighter. Officials suspected the worst.
We currently have no fighter in our operational inventory that could consistently, if successfully, combat the Foxbat.
If the experience
Oh wow, so this Foxbat at one point was really a problem. But the F-15 is coming, baby.
in Vietnam wasn't concerning enough, the Soviet Union now looked ready to unleash a new superfighter.
Another one? Also, America was feeling super behind at this point, probably. Would you guys agree, my friend? I was not aware of this.
After spending the better part of 2 decades building mostly interceptors, fighter bombers, and attack aircraft, the Air Force finally set its sights on building a state-of-the-art air superiority fighter. In 1968, leading U.S. aircraft designers were invited to submit proposals. Their entries would be assessed using a groundbreaking concept called energy maneuverability, a mathematical formula to help define a fighter's total performance in terms of speed, thrust, drag, and weight. In December 1969, the contract to build the new fighter was awarded to McDonnell Douglas. Their design was the product of 2.5 million man-hours of effort, allowing development to begin immediately. The F-15 Eagle was designed from the ground up for tactical dominance in any airspace. 2 afterburning turbofans could unleash a massive 48,000 pounds of combined thrust, enough power to break the sound barrier even while flying straight up. With a top speed of over Mach 2.5, the F-15 would be the fastest fighter jet ever produced by the United States.
How crazy is that?
For peak performance, the engines were fitted with variable air intakes, with a computerized air inlet control system adjusting to ensure optimal airflow at any speed or angle of attack. Where earlier
André, do you understand everything that is going on this video? No. But I know one thing, this is a beast of a jet.
fighters like the F-4 had a reduced wing area for high supersonic speeds, in the F-15, engineers instead opted for
It's so
low wing
beautiful.
loading, which combined with a high thrust-to-weight ratio delivered superior maneuverability. For maximum situational awareness, the cockpit was mounted high in the fuselage, with a canopy offering a commanding 360-degree view, along with a digital heads-up display fully integrated with radar and avionics. 8 Sparrow and Sidewinder missiles were mounted under the wings and along the fuselage. But if things got up close and personal, a 20mm Gatling gun could dish out 6,000 rounds a minute. And for maximum survivability, engineers designed in triple redundant hydraulics, low vulnerability flight controls, and a reinforced airframe. With its combination of speed, power, and agility, the F-15 was ready to earn its place as one of the greatest fighters ever built.
The best. Oh, friends, that F-15 is looking so sexy. Now let's see the Soviets, how they react to this.
The first prototype was unveiled in June 1972, just 3 years after McDonnell Douglas was given the go-ahead. The new fighter was put through an extensive testing program, and it would have to prove itself against the best of what the Air Force had to offer. Up against the heavy F-4 Phantom, the F-15 looked assured and in control, easily making quick work of the interceptor.
Charlie Howard's nose isn't on me, but I'm in deep trouble here.
Friends, this F-4 Phantom was a good one also. Maybe I should look into this. And let me say one thing, my friends. I've been lacking reactions to military stuff, But every time I react to this, I have a lot of fun. So leave a like if you enjoy this type of reactions, because I could do it more. But you basically decide. If you leave a like, I assume this is the type of content you would like to see more. But yeah, I mean, let's continue.
Oh, you're about to get gunned.
Even the smaller, lighter F5, used to simulate more agile MiG fighters in combat, struggled to shake the larger F15.
Overhead. I can't do anything about it.
Box 1 on the F5, nose down.
In nearly every engagement, whether beyond visual range or close-in dogfighting, the F-15 commanded an overwhelming advantage. With a true air superiority fighter on their hands, the Air Force was ready to send a message to the Soviet Union. Only a year and a half earlier, the Soviets posted new time-to-climb world records with the MiG-25. Now, the F-15 was about to erase them.
So, my friends, this is where I need your help. The MiG-25 is the other jet that they also have that is really, really good, the Soviets. But they don't know about what is coming, right?
In 1975, engineers stripped a pre-production F-15 of its non-mission critical components, even removing its paint to make it as light as possible. In the cold, dense air of North Dakota, the Eagle made a series of climbs from a dead stop, rocketing up to altitudes as high as 30 kilometers, right to the edge of the Earth's stratosphere. Not only did the F-15 beat the MiG's records, it shattered them by more than 25%.
Completely destroyed.
The Air Force had a winner on their hands, and the F-15 Eagle would come to be recognized as one of the most successful fighter development programs in history. By 1974, the fighter was already in mass production, with over 400 early F-15A and B models ordered for the U.S. Air Force. And America's allies were also eager to get their hands on the new jet. The first foreign operator was Israel, beginning in 1976, followed by Japan a couple years later, and Saudi Arabia. And with some of the first F-15s being deployed at West German air bases, right on the Soviet Union's doorstep, it seemed only a matter of time before the new fighter faced off against the MiG-25.
Ooh, man, I'm excited for. I hope they end up fighting. My friends, I forgot what I was about to say. But basically, no, I remember. You are probably so proud watching this. If you are American, you feel proud. I mean, this is crazy technology. At the time, crazy technology, and shows the American spirit. Man, I feel proud for you, my friends. Oh, wait, the MiG... I actually thought this was the Foxbat and the MiG-25 was two different planes. Never mind, it's just one, okay.
In 1976, the Americans finally got a first-hand look at the Soviet Union's superfighter. But it wasn't what they were expecting. In September of that year, Lieutenant Viktor Belyenka, a 29-year-old pilot with the Soviet Air Defense Forces, made a fateful decision to escape the Soviet Union. And he did it by secretly flying his MiG-25 from a Soviet airbase in the Far East to a civilian airport in Japan. After more than a decade shrouded in mystery, the Americans got a chance to examine the Foxbat down to every last detail. Although similar in size and appearance, the MiG-25 and F-15 had almost nothing else in common.
Wait, but it's actually a bit bigger. Yeah, it's a bit bigger.
Size and appearance, the MiG-25 and F-15 had almost
But like my wife says all the time, size does not matter, baby.
Nothing else in common. Built mostly out of heavy nickel-steel alloy, the Foxbat weighed nearly twice as much as the F-15. The large wings weren't for agility, they were needed just to get the monstrous jet airborne. The enormous weight meant that the MiG-25 could only pull a 4.5G maneuver. The F-15 was capable of nearly twice that. Most of what the MiG carried was fuel needed to feed its enormous engines. Even so, its combat radius was a mere 300 kilometers. Its avionics used outdated vacuum tubes, and its radar lacked look-down capability, meaning it couldn't even detect an F-15 flying below its horizon. The MiG-25 was anything but the dogfighting monster the Americans had feared. It was purely a high-altitude interceptor, designed to reach incredible speeds to catch enemy bombers. But it wasn't built to do much else. The Soviets had kept the Foxbat's capabilities a closely guarded secret, cashing in on its propaganda value and the alarm it had caused the Americans. But now...
So they did a lot of propaganda. My friends, I was watching a different video the other day that they said that China have a crazy jet right now. Don't ask me the name, I don't remember. But and that America is actually worried. Maybe something similar to this, maybe they are building that with AliExpress components and we are all worried. And at the end of the day, it's nothing. Or could be the next big thing. That's why America is also developing another one.
Now it was the Soviets' turn to panic, because in 1976,
Actually, it's a very good way to get funds.
the Soviet Union had no fighter that stood any chance of surviving a dogfight with an F-15.
No. Out.
F-15s scored their first victories in 1979, when Israeli pilots downed 4 Syrian MiG-21s in a single engagement. Over the years, the Eagle would win air battle after air battle, clearing the skies of adversaries almost as a matter of routine. Today, F-15s have racked up more than 100 victories without a single defeat, a record unmatched.
No chance. Okay, that's American propaganda. What? Oh, friends, is this true actually? Oh, I want to pay attention to this one again. Sorry.
Engagement. Over the years, the Eagle would win air battle after air battle, clearing the skies of adversaries almost as a matter of routine. Today, F-15s have racked up more than 100 victories without a single defeat, a record unmatched by any fighter in history.
Oh, is that
Early
even
F-15A and
possible?
B models were soon joined by C.
Okay, sorry, my friends, I have to pause it. Not a single defeat, the F-15? My friends, this is one of the best jets ever. You are so proud if you are American. Leave a like if you are proud. I truly believe this is an incredible jet.
and D variants, improving on the aircraft's range, payload, and weapon systems. Originally conceived as an air superiority fighter, the F-15 would also be developed into a formidable ground attack aircraft, leveraging the fighter's superior range, speed, and payload. Nearly a half-century after taking to the skies, the F-15 remains vital to the U.S. Air Force, with deliveries beginning in 2021 of the F-15EX, a thoroughly modernized.
What? There is a new model, fairly recent? My friends, leave me the number 15. If I should take a look at this one, probably there is a bunch of videos on YouTube. Should I watch the F-15X Eagle 2? Even if you don't leave the number 15, I will watch this offline. But I would love to watch this with all of you. And we are at the end of the video. If you leave the number 15, I also know I'm not a crazy guy watching F-15 videos in Portugal.
Replacement for the F-15C. The MiG-25 was never designed to combat an air superiority fighter like the F-15. But in January of 1991, the two Cold War icons came face to face over the skies of Baghdad.
Face to face?
And the outcome wasn't what anyone could have predicted. Because what the MiG-25 lacked in maneuverability, it made up for in raw power as the fastest fighter of all time. And the Iraqis would use it to their advantage, devising a daring plan to ambush F-15 Eagles as they patrolled the skies. You can learn about this incredible air battle in my next video coming exclusively to Nebula this month. Nebula is where you can watch a
Damn, and now is the sponsor? Oh.
Because Nebula is complete.
My friends, I don't even know what to say. What? Do you guys know the story of this? Can you tell me in the comments? Or do you guys know any video that I should watch? Wait, don't tell me the Eagle loses to a bet. No. Impossible. Well, my friends, thank you so much. This was so much fun. I mean, I sometimes I think it's unfair that I have this channel because I have the best time of my life watching these type of videos. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this with me. Really means a lot. You guys end up staying until the end. Leave me the number 15 if I should watch the new version of the Eagle. And I will also search this video if I can find something. But yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye, my friends.